For about a year now, give or take, the number of these little gray boxes from Garmin has been slowly but steadily increasing in my household. And this box has been with me for a few weeks now. Well, of course not the box itself, but this Forerunner 165 Music, which has turned out to be quite an interesting novelty, and it definitely deserves a more detailed discussion. And this video is a review and a brief user experience. The Forerunner series with the 65 indices is a relatively new line of sports smartwatches from Garmin, which in addition to the well-known and beloved functionalities of the brand, also provides users with high-quality, colorful, touch AMOLED displays. And now, the Forerunner 165 adds another noticeable feature, a price reduction seemingly without a significant loss in functionality. This is simply too interesting to ignore, as the Forerunner 165, just like the more expensive watches, can track a multitude of workouts with a variety of metrics. It can monitor recovery after workouts and provide recovery forecasts. And even, which is invaluable, track heart rate variability, an important indicator related to the body's ability to recover after training. Well, you can actually engage in various sports with it. For example, I did a lot of cycling, compared to the more expensive version. He was practically running. By the way, this watch takes into account the VO2 max indicator. And since we have a watch literally named for runners in translation from English, you can find running training tips directly on the watch, which are generated by the watch itself during use. I also engaged in strength training, stretching, and yoga. But you can even swim with the watch in open water and in a pool, as it is moisture resistant. Here is my little test. I will start by saying that this watch comes in two versions, the 165 and the 165 Music. I have the Music version. It is equipped with storage for the user's music playlists, which is 4 GB. The second difference is the built-in Wi-Fi. It is needed to download music to the watch more quickly. To listen to music, it's best to install either Spotify or Deezer directly on the watch and connect wireless headphones. That's it. You can go for a run without a smartphone, but with musical accompaniment. By the way, apps for the watch are installed through a smartphone and the Garmin store, Garmin Connect IQ. Among the important smart features, since this watch is not only sporty but also smart, it includes contactless payment for purchases through Garmin Pay. This means that this watch serves as a full-fledged replacement for a bank card. You can make purchases at any checkout in stores that support contactless payments. By the way, I just want to share with you that I recently tried to pay at a self-checkout in one of the supermarkets, I think it was a truck, using contactless payment on my watch. I was a bit surprised and even frustrated that the payment terminal is located in a recessed area of the self-checkout. It was practically impossible to slide my hand with the watch in to make the payment for my purchase. So let's all applaud the brilliant developers of this checkout, because nowadays, no one is going to pay at a self-checkout using a smartwatch and contactless payment. Bravo! However, in the meantime, this watch, like other watches in the Forerunner series, is quite lightweight, weighing 39 grams. The materials used for the strap are silicone, while the case is made of reinforced polymer, and the glass is from an unspecified manufacturer. It visually differs significantly, for example, from the Forerunner 965. Firstly, it has a flat surface, and secondly, the 165 model tends to collect fingerprints more noticeably. The screen of this watch has a resolution of 390 by 390 pixels and a diagonal of 1.2 inches. There are several interesting features regarding the screen. All models have screens, including the 65 series, and feature color touchscreen AMOLED displays. However, in the Forerunner 165 Music model, the animation is slightly less smooth, but it's really not that scary. However, there is still no night mode, which is when all the information on the screen is displayed in red tones to reduce eye strain in the dark. And this is most likely something that cannot be changed or added with an update. It is said that this limitation is of a hardware nature. Regarding the screen, I would like to note that the diagonal is small, but due to the dark bezel around the screen, it seems that it is not that small after all. In general, even on my wrist, this watch doesn't seem too small. It's very important and pleasant that the screen supports always-on display, and I always use the watch in this mode. As you can see, right now the screen is also showing me all the information I need. I can raise my hand at any moment to see the time and other data displayed on the main screen. Overall, it's just very convenient. In this mode and with daily workout tracking, the watch lasts for 4 days on a single charge. You can also choose to activate the display by raising your hand, and then the watch will last up to 7 days on a single charge. However, if you do not track workouts with the watch and also take it off at night, you can theoretically use it on a single charge for about 11 days. Unfortunately, I do not have exact information about the battery capacity of the watch, but it is known that even with continuous tracking of workout coordinates via GPS and GNSS, the watch can operate for up to 17 hours on a single charge. And that's actually a very impressive indicator. In GPS-only mode, you can track your workouts for up to 20 hours consecutively. Additionally, if you listen to music during your workout from the watch, the battery life can be 7 or 6.5 hours, depending on the types of navigation systems that are used in the watch. Personally, I used all available location tracking systems in every workout. This is especially important for cycling workouts, as the margin of error can be higher due to the increased speed without the use of such tools. The strap here is 20 mm wide with a quick release system. It can be removed really quickly. By the way, my watch doesn't have that. The maximum wrist circumference here is 203 mm. The watch has sensors on the back for measuring oxygen levels, heart rate, and temperature. There is a proprietary charging port. By the way, I personally can't wait for Garmin to start including these angled cables with their watches so that you can charge the watch at the same time. And it was lying on the table face up, not face down, as is currently the case with the cables that come with the watch. So you have to buy this little thing separately somewhere. It's still a small detail, but it's nice to have such a feature. In this review, I have quite a few thoughts like this, but when I stand in line somewhere in the supermarket, I immediately recognize my like-minded people. It is precisely because of the watch on the wrist with 5 buttons. When you see something like this, it is immediately clear that the person is somehow involved in sports and possibly even part of the Garmin user community. Such a number of buttons is convenient for fully controlling the watch, for example, when wearing gloves in winter, or in situations when it is wet or underwater, as the sensor may not respond correctly. So, the buttons are a cool feature. Some of the buttons even have additional functions. For example, by holding the top left button, you can open a menu with widgets, payment options, timers, and a flashlight, for instance. By the way, the display itself is used as a flashlight in white and red colors. It features vibration and a beeper-type sound signal. They are needed for notifications from the smartphone and for workouts, including the start and end of training sessions. Distance notifications can be accompanied by sounds and vibrations. The sound can also be used for timers and alarms on the watch itself. It's very convenient. I use both features all the time. This sporty watch has Wi-Fi, GPS, NFC, Bluetooth, and ANT+. Bluetooth is included. This wireless interface is very convenient for connecting external heart rate straps and other accessories, such as cadence and speed sensors for cycling. This is super convenient, and similar external accessories are mostly detected automatically. The watch may even suggest connecting to such a strap or sensor on its own. The value of Garmin devices lies not only in their smart and sports functions, but also in their ability to track a vast number of indicators of the human body. For example, simple things like calories burned in a day or steps taken in a day can serve as reminders to stay active and track the number of floors climbed throughout the day. They are capable of taking into account the conditional energy indicator of the human body, which is the proprietary body battery metric, and can display and adjust the recovery time for the body after physical exertion. Agree, it's convenient and useful for planning your activity and rest. Personally, I enjoy checking the section in the app that shows my estimated fitness age, and it's very nice to see that Garmin calculates it as significantly smaller than it actually is for me. The watch can independently adjust recovery time, even without data exchange with a smartphone, for example, if a person had a poor night's sleep. Conversely, it can reduce the recovery forecast when the sleep quality was better. Therefore, such a watch is a true smart computer with sensors on the wrist that constantly provides you with up-to-date information. Specifically, the Forerunner 165 is currently the most affordable model in the series with a color display. At the time of filming this video, its price was 12,500 hryvnias. Therefore, the watch collects a lot of data. For example, it has a built-in sleep quality coach. The watch is lightweight, so you don't need to take it off at night, and in the morning it will show you a sleep quality score, among other things. Every morning, the watch can provide a comprehensive morning report filled with a wealth of data. This includes sleep quality, overall recovery level, heart rate variability, and minutes of activity per week. It will also display the scheduled workout or events for today, as well as the weather and a little motivation for your day. In such a morning report, there will be slightly less data compared to, for example, the 963 model. There, you can still see a specific numerical indicator of readiness for training. This is the difference in the more accessible model. Therefore, in any case, the watch still collects a lot of useful user data, helping to adequately assess one's capabilities and recovery status. Take, for example, the heart rate variability indicator, which should be kept in the green zone. For example, the VO2 max indicator, which the watch tracks during running sessions. It is also an important measure of endurance and the body's capacity. This cool feature of Garmin watches has appeared not long ago. This is called a health snapshot. With just one press, you can gather all the data that the watch is capable of collecting: breathing, heart rate, stress, and also pulse oximetry. We have a report on the main data. It is enough to just save this report. Here it is already available in the app, and here is the notification about it, which was made based on all the main metrics. The watch, Forerunner 165, collects and organizes all this data, which is exactly what the Garmin Connect smartphone app does. These watches can be connected to both Android smartphones and iPhones, but the difference will be that on the iPhone, there will be no option to reply to messages that come to the smartphone. With Android, you can reply to messages from certain apps and even view photos that, for example, are sent to you in Viber. You can respond there using template responses, which can be customized through the Garmin Connect app. Unfortunately, this option is not available on the iPhone, but in all other respects, the functions of the watches paired with different smartphones are the same. Smartphone applications have 4 main functions according to my classification. The first is the collection and display of data about the user's physical metrics, serving as a sort of hub. Secondly, the app serves as a hub for viewing workout data and managing workouts and even training programs on the watch and overall. And thirdly, the app is a true social network for athletes. Here you can find friends and share your workout results with them, as well as support each other. In addition, the app allows you to customize the watch's features just like on the watch itself, from measurement units to appearance and menu settings on the watch. It's also really cool that you can send workout route tracks directly from your smartphone to the watch. You can find a ready-made track in standard GPX format for navigators, or you can even create such a track yourself, for example, in the Garmin Explore app. Then you simply upload it to your watch and you can start your cycling or running workout, it doesn't matter, just with your watch, which will act like a small navigator, guiding you along the route right on your wrist. The difference with the more expensive version 965 is that it has built-in full maps, and there the watch will guide you through the streets, showing your current location. And our hero, the Forerunner 165, will simply guide the user along the track by showing the directions. By the way, the Forerunner 165 can even guide you back to the starting point of your workout, according to your track or direction, and this is a very convenient feature that many will surely appreciate. Right now, about half of the break has passed. For the route I planned, there is a return to start function, and when you select it, there are 2 options: direct route or trackback. Well, I will try to select the trackback. So, the download has started. Let's see what the watch says. It is interesting also because the 8th route went through quite a dense forest. There were a lot of branches, and now I need to move in the direction the arrow is pointing. Let's go and see what happens. Before the practical comparison in workouts, let me try to outline a few points regarding the differences between this watch and the significantly more expensive 965 version. Perhaps this makes it easier for understanding if it's worth buying a more expensive watch or if a cheaper one will suffice. Let's talk about the appearance. The 165 model uses simpler materials. Here, as you can see, there are just polymer buttons instead of metal ones. There is no titanium bezel. A simpler yet still protective glass covers the screen. However, unlike the 965 model, this one comes with a strap that has a quick release system. The display on the Forerunner 165 model is smaller and has a lower resolution. It also does not support night mode, but it does support always-on display, which is very convenient for the user. There are also differences in the features. The 965 model has a more advanced GPS navigation system. It features built-in full maps and supports SAT IQ technology. The watch automatically switches between the necessary systems depending on the surrounding conditions. The more expensive model also includes not only an accelerometer but also a gyroscope. Additionally, the Forerunner 165 Music has a noticeably smaller list of activities that it can track. Higher-end watches also have an acclimatization indicator for high-altitude activities, which the Forerunner 165 Music lacks. Now let me share the practical differences that I was able to determine personally. I trained the most with the Forerunner 165 Music specifically on the bike, as it provides a very good understanding of distance and speed. And with the more expensive watches, there were differences in the data only regarding the elevation gain. Perhaps this is because the 965 watch automatically suggests calibrating the GPS before each workout. Well, accordingly, the elevation data can be more accurate, although the change in elevation differences seems quite correct to me on the Forerunner 165 model. As for speed and distance, I can say that everything is perfectly fine with them. And of course, regarding the accuracy of the track on the map, I can also say that everything is absolutely fine. I also like that even compared to an external heart rate monitor, the watch provided quite accurate data, and the discrepancies between the readings from the two devices were minimal. With this, the watch is perfectly fine, at least in my case, because skin can have different properties in different people. It shows my pulse correctly and almost identically to the strap, which has been repeatedly proven and verified in parallel during the use of both the strap and the watch itself. I also tested strength exercises with this watch, and it might have been some coincidence, but I found that this watch even better tracked my movements and repetitions during my dumbbell workouts. By the way, what I also like about all Garmin watches is that through the app, you can create your own workouts, customize the number of repetitions, movements, and for example, set the weight of the dumbbell, and even add a voice comment for each exercise in the workout, just to remind myself what will happen in the next exercise. In short, maximum flexibility in setting up your personal training. Another really cool feature here is the integration with third-party services like Strava. It is highly advanced. Segments from a Strava premium subscription may even be displayed. Additionally, online activity tracking can be used. In short, even with a seemingly entry-level watch like the Forerunner 165 Music, users gain access to a quite advanced ecosystem for effective training and communication among all Garmin users. The battery life of the watch in always-on display mode is a real 4 days, assuming you have 30-40 minutes of GPS workouts each day. This figure is, of course, lower than 7 days in the 965, but it is still very good compared to any other smartwatches. Of course, if you train with music or if the workout is longer, the battery life will accordingly decrease. So my weeks with the Forerunner 165 flew by very quickly. I had a lot of great moments with it. Yes, it lacks a few features that may be found in more expensive watches. However, this watch is simply excellent for its price and is even better in many aspects than high-end branded smartwatches, particularly in tracking metrics, sports performance, and battery life.